Welcome, healers, light workers, tarot card readers, and tarot card viewers and listeners. My name is L-E-L-L-E, and I'm coming to you from Venus Girl Tarot Card Reading Guidance. This is a brand new channel. I was inspired by the Holy Spirit and by God to start this channel. I have watched hundreds and hundreds of tarot card readings from various readers who are very, very talented. Many of their readers on YouTube are fantastic. I wanted to just fill in the holes and some of the disconnects that some of the viewers are having difficulty understanding. While watching some of your tarot card readings, I would find myself saying, oh, no, that's not it. They're going to be confused by that. Although you guys, the actual readers, were right on point, some of the viewers and listeners, I could tell, were having some difficulty really understanding the readings. And because there's a major issue with people watching tarot cards and using them in their life, not so much so for entertainment, but more so because they're really trying to get some direction. I thought it would be very important for me to tell what I know and what was revealed to me by Spirit, so that I could be a helpful tool in the world of tarot card reading. So what I'm showing you right now is the Rider-Waite tarot card deck. There are 78 cards in this particular deck. However, what I really want to talk about today is the storyline behind the tarot cards. It's very important for the viewers to understand that these, the storyline, or rather the thesis statement, if you are a literature person, the thesis statement is the main idea behind the whole entire 78 cards. So what you're looking at right now, what I'm showing you, is the actual thesis statement. Waite, who is the writer of the Tarot Card Key book, actually says in the book that the Trump Major cards, which you're looking at the Trump Major cards right now. So you're looking at all of these are the Trump Major cards. That's what he calls them in his book. These cards represent the very thesis statement, or scientifically hypothesis of what the cards were supposed to convey. However, these cards were meant to be read on a divine level. So what's happening is the readers are having to translate this information, translate these cards into something that ordinary men, maybe that's not a good term, but ordinary men can understand, because these cards really were not meant to be read on a three-dimensional level, if I may use that term, but they're meant to be told from a storyline of divine understanding, which means that you have to be transformed, ascended, in order to really understand how to read these cards. Therefore, many of the tarot card readers are transformed and ascended. Also, there's also it's a kind of a insinuation that tarot card reading started as a language to be spoken among those individuals who understood the secrets of the world and the secret doctrine. It really is a secret document, a secret doctrine. It is not witchcraft, it's not evil, it's not satanic. It is a means by which people during the 14th century were able to communicate in secret societies. When you think about some of the secret societies that existed back then, or even further along the timeline, like the Freemasons and the there's a Martinist group, and there's a couple of other groups that were considered secret groups. Many of them used these cards and this information as their secret language. So within these cards, you will see some masonry symbolism. You'll also see some pyramids and diamonds and pyramids and triangles, which in this day and age we often relate to the Illuminati, but you know, if you want to get that deep into it. But there is a secret language going on right here within the actual Trump major cards. So in pulling out the Trump major cards and understanding the storyline, you can kind of understand where this was actually going. I am going to show you each card, and I'm going to tell you the storyline according to Waite's writings of what the storyline really is. And so we start, really and truly, I'm going to start with the Fool. So as you can see here, the Fool card is the 0 card. So a lot of readers often say, oh yeah, you know, the Fool card is the first card in the deck and the World card is the last card in the deck. Well, according to Waite, this Fool card can go anywhere in the deck. And really and truly, instead of it being the 0 card, he would have really liked it to have been the 21st or 22nd card, meaning the 21st card before the World card. So really and truly, he explains in his book that this Fool card can go anywhere in the deck. So if I were to take this card, what he is saying that the card could possibly have gone here, it could have gone in between here, it could have gone anywhere in this thesis or hypothesis storyline. So there's something really divine to these cards in the fact that it's a different language, that it uses a lot of Egyptian symbolism, masonry symbolism, Illuminati symbolism. There is definitely a deeper and divine meaning to tarot cards. And again, I will reiterate, there's nothing evil about tarot cards. They weren't based on witchcraft. They were based on a secret doctrine in order to communicate amongst secret societies. Those who are gifted enough to be able to truly read the cards in a deeper manner on another level are considered to be the sons and daughters of those who started these secret societies and these secret doctrines. So isn't that an interesting concept? So all of the tarot card readers that are on YouTube, people who have sight and intuition into these cards and the other cards that they're used, because there's many other cards, but these really were a part of the original group of cards. And Waite does explain that there are other groups of cards out there. But this is the most well-known group of cards that is used. So when we talk about the storyline really starts with the magician. I'm not going to get into the symbolic nature of the magician until way later on in my show. So I'll be doing a couple of other shows. You guys stay tuned to that. And let me stop here and say, don't forget to like, share, or subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel. I am new. I also have another channel called Nola Love, Darling Child of God. And through my awakening, God has told me to also do this channel, because I think the Holy Spirit and the Spirit needs people to truly understand what these cards mean, not only for the readers, but also for those viewing the readers, to have a better understanding of what these cards really mean. A lot of people are going out and changing their lives based on these cards, so it's very important that readers read them correctly, that their intuition is truly in tune, because many people are changing their lives based on these cards. And if you're telling somebody to go out and quit their job or to leave a loved one, we have to be careful of our wording, the way we say things, how we say it, and make sure that we're in alignment with the divine when we do make those suggestions to our viewers, because the viewers will take a lot of what you're telling them and they will go and make those changes. So readers, be very careful on how you relay the messages of these cards. Let's start with, we talked a little bit about the Fool and how the Fool can fall anywhere in here. It does not necessarily have to be the card that starts the deck just because it's the 0 card. It really, at any point in the timeline, you can end up starting from 0 all over again. So the Magician here, as above, so below, as many readers say. But what's important to note here is all of the suits are present on the table. You've got the cup, the pentacle, you've got the sword, and you also have the wand. So you have all 4 suits, but the Magician is either, and I'm going to say this in just plain ordinary terms, and then later on in my series I'll go back and really analyze the cards. Just in plain ordinary terms, the Magician, if you look at the Magician and the storyline, is the individual who is praying and trying to manifest something new or something great in their life. Okay? And they're using all the tools on that table to do so. They're using emotion. They want pentacles. They want passion. They want truth. They want all of those things that make life wonderful, happy, and successful. And so moving along, after the Magician in the storyline, after you have prayed, then comes your own intuition into what is the best route to take on your life's path. This is where you begin to connect with God and the church. Oftentimes people refer to this card as where God and man meet, where the church of God and man meet together. So this is where you begin to really get in touch with the divine about the things you are praying for and trying to manifest. And you then begin to look around and get in touch with the divine so that your intuition is on point and that you can make the correct decisions that you need to make. There is a document wrapped around her arm that is half seen, half not seen. And the document says Torah, which leads you to believe that divine documents are at play to help you have the intuition that you need in order to go in the right direction that you need to go into to become your divine self, which will either be the empress or the emperor. So your goal in this world is really to become one of those, which both of those individuals have some sort of touch, or they're in touch with the divine. They're in touch with God. They're in touch with the universe. Both of these divine partners here have found each other in this life cycle, and they both represent abundance. They both represent what the magician was trying to manifest. They both represent the cup of emotions. They both represent the pentacles, the wand, and the sword of truth. And so with that, they have found each other in this timeline and have become each other's divine partners. And with that said, the Hierophant, which represents the church, the Pope, an individual who's very close to the divine and understands what the divine is trying to get the empress and the emperor to understand about themselves, as well as the partnership and the purpose of themselves and the partnership. So the Hierophant blesses the marriage and blesses these two divine partners on their journey, and brings the church into play as a major part. The priestess, the high priestess, brought the intuition and into play for the individual who took this leap of faith. And now they're both living out their divine life, blessed by the church, blessed by an institution of marriage, and then they consummate this divine partnership as the lovers, which is highly blessed by the angels above, as you can see. So as the lovers, their union is blessed. Then they move on, where the king moves on in conquering in different conquests and winning every time he does. And so moving forward in a positive manner, everything that the king or the emperor wanted to manifest, he has done so. And therefore he is moving forward into the future, doing good and great things. However, as he keeps moving forward into the future, both he and his empress must have strength and fortitude. The fortitude to understand that there will be issues, problems, and things and concerns that come up within the marriage and external forces outside of the marriage. This card just represents the strength and morality. And if you notice, she's trying to close the mouth of the lion and tame the lion. And she's also got the infinity sign above her, representing the Holy Spirit, meaning she's also divine in that she has the strength to do so. She is connected. And this is more about her calling upon the divine to give her strength, and knowing that there is strength in knowing and loving God, being and knowing in faith in the divine. As she moves on, and as the empress and emperor move on throughout their wonderful conquest, and then moving forward on the chariot and gaining this strength through God and the divine, and knowing that that is where they gain their strength, they also go within to really look at God's divine will, and what is God's purpose for their life, and what do we need strength for? What is going to happen between the emperor and the empress that they will need strength? So the hermit really takes a look at that. The hermit is also known as the card of prudence, because Waite explains that prudence was kind of left out of this. So many people believe that the hermit is prudence, kind of looking at things and trying to figure them out and making sure they're all aligned to the divine will of God. We jump from the hermit into the wheel of fortune. So after the hermit, after the emperor and empress go into finding each other where they are in this journey, meeting each other where they are in their strength with God, they then jump into the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune, in this deck that writer so beautifully illustrates, has several beings in it. Also, very Egyptian. And you can see the symbols in the Wheel of Fortune. Well, anyways, the Wheel of Fortune, when it starts turning, it often starts turning towards justice. And the fortune, whenever there is justice and whenever there is prudence and strength, there will be a turn in the Wheel of Fortune for the better. And so when there is justice, that is time to celebrate, because all things become in balance. As you can see, her scales, and she absolutely is carrying the sword of truth that the magician asked to manifest. So she has the sword of truth. She also has everything in balance. Both of the couples, both of the people, the empress and the emperor, are living within their justice, within their sword of truth, and within their scales are balanced. They're living a balanced life, and therefore you have that Wheel of Fortune saying, yes, things are good. So then, if things become imbalanced in any way, you have what's called the Hanged Man. And so the emperor and empress on their journey may begin to look at things in a different perspective, may begin to view things differently, may begin to start to stray from the actual divine will of God, listening to God and being guided by God as per what the Strength card means. And they begin to just question and see things as they would see them. And as they do begin to see things as they would see them, living this perspective that's different from the one that God has blessed them with, they face death. The death of their soul, the death of their being, the death of themselves. Now, some people see this as a physical transformation. Some people see this as actual death itself. You'll see that there is an individual or a head that is poking out with a crown, showing that the emperor and empress are now going through something. They're going through a transformation. They've seen things differently. They're analyzing their truth. They're analyzing justice. They're trying to balance the scales out. They're analyzing their institutional beliefs. And they're just trying to get a grip. And they're like, As they learn and see a different perspective, then death and transformation begin. And when death and transformation begin, they then begin a journey where they must have patience. Now, Temperance, according to Waite, is the one card in the deck that has a hidden meaning behind a hidden meaning. So I'm going to kind of slide Temperance out because at the very beginning of Waite's book, he says that when he decided to write these things down from the divine, from his intuition, he had got all of this information because these cards are on a way higher level than what we think. This particular card again, doesn't show patience. It shows something totally different. Two cups, one cup pouring into another cup pouring into another. This winged creature that looks like a female, that goes against the doctrine, because the doctrine believe that these angelic features, angelic beings, were actually male. But she is depicted, I mean, Temperance is depicted as a female. So this is the mystery card of the deck. And in fact, what's so crazy is Waite says that when he wrote this book and when he worked with Ryder on these cards, someone asked him, did you save something? Did you save something for yourself? Did you remove something? Did you keep something a secret? And he did. And so there's at least one thing throughout the deck that is a big secret that is not revealed. However, something in me tells me that the Temperance card is that card. You've got the pyramid on that card. And there's a couple of other things that are just quite symbolic. The road behind this individual, the mountains back there, the sun shining so brightly. It's got a crown. The sun has a crown in it. So Temperance is just up there filling its cups, being patient. However, this is the one card I don't think can be explained thoroughly, because I don't think it actually means patience. There is a hidden meaning behind this particular card, and that is revealed later on down the line in the story. The devil, as most card readers read it, is codependency, alcohol, drugs, sex, anything that holds a person to the devil. However, the devil at this point in the storyline is showing two humans with animalistic traits, who are bound together, and the ring in between, they're bound together by this ring. And it's more so about a break from the norm, a break from institutional beliefs, a break from God, and maybe not the institutional beliefs, but a real look at the institutional belief systems, and realizing that institution is not God. And so at some point, if you don't have patience or temperance, and you're breaking away from God himself and his divine will, and you've had that different perspective, and you're going through a death because at some point you did break away from God, and so now you're faced with the devil, and you're locked and chained in to this thought process that there's something better than God and his divine will. But what ends up happening is both the emperor and empress end up just falling out of the tower. There ends up being a tower moment, because at this point the marriage was not built on a great foundation, or if it's not talking about the emperor and the empress, this is marriage, maybe it's something within themselves, because again, this is about the divine and the connection to self. So the tower moment occurs, breaking down the relationship, and breaking down anything that wasn't built on firm foundation. So after that happens, then you have something really divine that occurs. You have a lady, and Waite describes this lady, the star, as someone who is feeding their soul again, that is using all their material possessions and everything that they have to feed their soul again and to find themselves and to go within and look deep. And that's kind of what the moon is doing. He's looking deep into those waters. And if you notice, those waters are rough. But the star is the hope and the healing after this tower moment. And the emperor and empress are now trying to pour onto their soul what has happened. What is going on? What is happening here to me? And they're trying to heal and truly understand the divine and their purpose within this world. And within the moon is really and truly waiting to see what's coming out of those waters. You've done the work, you're healing, and now the moon is like, okay, let's see if this works. And then you have the two towers on the side, and maybe there's a possibility that the marriage has broken apart between emperor and empress, or the marriage between man and God has broken apart. God on one end of the shore and man on the other end of the shore. It could be interpreted any kind of way. However, this is a period of time of thinking, of regaining a grip on reality, of the illusions that are occurring, the illusions and the imaginary things happening within the perspective and thought processes of the emperor and empresses through the hangman. They realize that maybe that what they were thinking was all an illusion. What they were believing in and what they were straying away from God in was all an illusion. However, the moon is more not about the illusion, but more about giving way to the, not giving way, but moving away from the illusions and finding oneself in spirit and in the divine. So lots of thought processes and thinking going on with the emperor and empress, either within themselves or within their marriage or the destruction of their marriage. It could possibly be, like I said, there's a waterway in between. Maybe there's been a split or separation. Maybe there's a split and separation between them and God. And so they are going through this healing. They are thinking deeply. They are looking deep within the waters. And then the sun shows them coming out of this and slowly but surely going back to innocence, going back to childlike perspective, seeing God as a child would see God. And it's the brightest card in the deck because it is our innocence. There's nothing brighter in this world than innocence. It's the return of adult empress and emperor, divine partners, to their childhood and to a childhood innocent-like behavior in order for true transformation to happen. Meaning things of the past and thought processes of the past must be released into an innocence and a forgiving in order to move on into the future. And that is where the judgment card comes in, where finally the heavens are judging and resurrecting the emperor and empress through all of their deep thought processes, through all of their healing and their pouring out of their soul to God and begging and pleading, God help me. We get to the judgment, or universe help me, or divine help me, whomever you believe in. We get to the judgment where the angels and the divine, the universe, with the cross again, everything goes back to faith. and spirit. So they're making a decision here, blowing their horn, and really and truly not just a horn of the world or a horn of the skies and heavens, but this is an inward horn. We're blowing our own horns. We're judging ourselves to see if we are truly transformed in love and light of God. He is resurrecting us from the darkness and from the depths of that ocean, and he's showing us our innocence. Are we accepting of this? Are we accepting of the fact that God is our true purpose? He is the divine will, that all things through manifestation come through him, that he is judge and jury, and that he will decide whether we have truly transformed or not. He will look within and see if we have truly transformed or not. The divine and the universe will the universe with the sun, the moon, and the star will decide whether we have truly transformed. And the judgment will come and a decision will be made. And once that decision is made, then we have the world card. And with the world card, we can actually see that with the world card, a lot of readers interpret this as, okay, this is the end of the cycle. But Waite differs in his interpretation in his book. He says, no, this is not where everything ends. This is where the true transformation has taken place. And there is an understanding, a true knowing, a true being in faith in the universe, where man and universe now come together as one. And the true truth of being and justice is served. There's a judgment that has been made, and it's been made in the favor of the emperor and the empress at this time on this journey. And this world is showing that the world is given to them at this time, that they have the world in their hands. And because I don't want to misinterpret the world of all things, of all of the the Trump majors, because it's one of the most important cards, I'm going to go ahead and read the world directly to you. The world. As this final message of the major trumps is unchanged and indeed unchangeable in respect of its design, it has been partly described already regarding its deep sense. It represents also the perfection and end of the cosmos, the secret which is within the rapture of the universe when it understands itself in God. It is further the state of the soul in the consciousness of divine vision, reflected from the self-knowing spirit. All right, so what I want to say about this is that all is restored in the world once transformation happens, that the union now in the consciousness and subconsciousness of the emperor and empress is that they know, that they see and they know that God, the universe, that everything happens because of that union between man and God, that union between man and the universe. It's a beautiful message, a beautiful message. The whole thesis and hypothesis behind the tarot. Here it is. If you need to go back and rewind, you can interpret it for yourself. However, this is how Waite interprets it. And he interprets it with the Fool being the last card, or like I said, as the floating card, the card that can go in between and anywhere in here. But here you go. right after you've restored that relationship with God, understanding the true meaning of the divine, and how that transformation helps you to raise to another level and ascend, you now have the Fool. And you are now jumping forward with the idea that the angels will save or place a cushion there, place a step there, that it doesn't matter. You step out on faith, that everything you do is a step out on faith. And that when you believe and you come into union with God through the world, a whole restoration, then you step out on faith with knowing that the divine will not let you fall. That there is a sunny place behind you, because Waite does describe the sun is behind him, that at any time with his wand and his little pocketbook, he calls it a purse back there, Waite does, but at any time the sun is beaming so bright behind him, at any time he can return back to where he came from. That although he's taking this leap of faith, that at any time, because the sun is shining behind him, and that's a good place too, that at any time he can return there. If there is goodness, love, and divine will there, yes. So the card has many meanings. I have gone way over my time, and this is the first video. I will be doing shorter videos on some of the cards that some of the viewers are misinterpreting. And so I'm going to start my next video with the Three of Swords and the many misunderstandings of this card. So please tune in to Venus Girl Tarot Card Reading Guidance, and I will see you again very soon. I'll be doing these readings every day, in fact, over the next few weeks, trying to get these out to make sure there are no misunderstandings within the viewer's interpretation. Of course, everything is left up to interpretation, but please remember that the tarot cards were meant to be read on a symbolic and divine level. Someone who has ascended and transformed can understand it better than someone who is not prayed up, not trying to manifest, not really in tune with the divine. You will misinterpret these cards if you are not in tune with the divine. With that said, this is L-E-L-L-E. Please see me on Nola Love, Darling Child of God Entertainment channel as well. The link is down below. I do have that channel as well. Please like, share, or subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. This is how I make a living, so please see the PayPal down below, and any donations are welcome. Right now is a hard time for me, so be helpful. Anything that you can give, I would really appreciate it. And I plan on giving this gift to you guys from Spirit, from the Holy Spirit, so that you guys can really understand the cards that you are viewing, and for the readers, the cards that you are reading. All right, many blessings in love and light. I will see you very soon with that Three of Swords interpretation. Take care. God bless.